Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about my week number 2 quarterbacks to stream for fantasy football in 2021. Inside today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 quarterbacks that I believe to have ideal matchups to stream for week number 2 of the 2021 fantasy football season. But before we get on in to the in-depth look into week number 2 quarterbacks to stream, I would like to ask if you are new to the channel and you do end up enjoying today's video, to please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, me and the guys over at the Awesemo Fantasy Football YouTube channel put out content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football Championship. And while you're down there, whether you are new to the channel or not, please make sure that you hit that like button as well to help boost this video up the algorithm so that more beautiful people like yourself can see today's video. I'd also like to ask if you have Twitter and you would like to follow me. I love tweeting about fantasy football. Make sure you follow me on there at Notorious FNTSY. So without further ado, let's get into the video. We begin with my first quarterback to stream for week number 2. That is famous Jameis Winston of the New Orleans Saints going up against the Carolina Panthers in Carolina. Famous Jameis lived up to that nickname on Sunday as he picked apart, absolutely destroyed the Green Bay Packers defense. Now, he only threw the ball 20 times. He had 14 completions, 148 passing yards. Those stats, obviously, they don't look super enticing. They're not going to make you want to go ahead and pick up Jameis Winston. But what you have to realize is that he threw on those 20 passes, those 14 completions, those 148 passing yards. He threw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 4, 5 touchdowns. I almost said not 5, but the answer, he threw for 5 fucking touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. And he also carried the ball 6 times for 37 rushing yards. So, while those 20 passing attempts might scare you away, right? You might be thinking, Nick, you know what? He only threw the ball 20 times. The reason why that happened is because Aaron Rodgers just showed no fight into that game. Aaron Rodgers was not going to be able to crawl back into that game. Aaron Rodgers played terribly. The whole Packers team played terribly. But I believe up against the Panthers, now, on paper, obviously, if you're looking at the Panthers versus the Packers, you would say, hey, Nick, it's probably a lot more likely that the Packers do better up against the Saints, but the Packers had a limp game. They did not play good at all, but I believe the Panthers, while they're not the greatest offense on earth, they will be able to at least score some points to where Jameis doesn't just hand the ball off 7 million times later on in the game, and they'll be able to let Jameis Winston cook in this matchup. I love this matchup up against the Carolina Panthers. While we did end up seeing Zach Wilson kind of start off slow in that game, and it wasn't looking too hot, deeper down the stretch of the game, he started to get comfortable. He started to look really good. So I believe Jameis Winston has a very good matchup here up against the Carolina Panthers. But before we get into the second waiver wire quarterback to be adding this week, I would like to let you guys know that today's video is being brought to you guys by Yahoo. Start the NFL season off and start it off right with Yahoo Daily Fantasy. To celebrate, we have a brand new exclusive deal launching today that is thanks to our partnership with Yahoo. If you are new to Yahoo and make your first ever deposit via the link in the pinned comment or in the description, you'll get 2 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum for signing up with making your first deposit on Yahoo. Just make sure you sign up through the link provided, which is awesemo.com/yahoo-fantasy-promo. Just to emphasize that this offer is for new Yahoo users only. If you have already played on Yahoo, you're already a Yahoo user, then you will not be eligible for this promo, and you must use the link in the pinned comment of the YouTube channel to subscribe. With your 2 free months of Awesemo Plus Platinum, you will have access to our tools and projections specifically designed for Yahoo DFS to help you take down Yahoo's $200,000 NFL single game baller contest and other contests to win big on Yahoo DFS. Take advantage and join Yahoo today. Again, link down below in the description to get that great offer. Next up, we have Mr. You Like That, Kirk Cousins, quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings, going up against the Arizona Cardinals this week. Now, up against the Cardinals might seem like a tough matchup on paper. We saw Ryan Tannehill get eaten alive in the pocket by Chandler Jones. So that wasn't great. But the Titans' offensive line was just folding like a table that the people jump through in Buffalo when they go to Bills games. That's how bad it was. Taylor Lewan was getting devoured. He stood no chance in that game up against Chandler Jones. While the Vikings don't have this elite fortified offensive line, I think things are going to look a lot better this game for the Minnesota Vikings offense compared to the Tennessee Titans, who just had a bad game all around last week up against the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins finished as quarterback number 11 on week number 1, heaving the ball 49 times for 36 completions with 351 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns on the day up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals are definitely a far superior matchup to the Arizona Cardinals, especially with what we saw earlier on Sunday. But with that said, if the Arizona Cardinals offense is able to put the pedal to the metal with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, with Chase Edmonds, with James Conner, with all of these weapons they have on the offense of the Cardinals, if they're able to put the pedal to the metal, they're scoring a bunch of points, then Kirk Cousins is going to have to be heaving the ball a lot later on in the game, and I believe Kirk Cousins is an excellent start in week number 2, just like I talked about him as being a great waiver wire pickup in week number 1. Next up, we have Big Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Big Ben Roethlisberger looked far from great on Sunday. He was great up here. This is Big Ben down here, right? All the way down here. You know what? Not even on the graphic. That's how bad he was. He was so far down, he didn't play good at all. He only threw the ball for 188 passing yards, 32 passes, just 18 completions, and 1 touchdown. So he finished as quarterback 26 on the week, which is just terrible. You think about it, there's 32 quarterbacks. He's quarterback 26. He was basically useless. We have yet to see the Las Vegas Raiders play yet, as they are either playing right now as you're watching this, or they're about to play on Monday Night Football. My assumption of how this game goes, I'll rub the crystal ball real quick and I'll tell you. I know exactly what's going to happen. The Ravens are going to win. The Ravens are going to play well. The Raiders defense will look all right. So the Steelers offense should be just fine up against the Raiders in a potential back and forth affair if the Steelers defense maybe doesn't look as good as they looked up against the Buffalo Bills. And one thing I know about Big Ben is that Big Ben loves to play great at home. When he's away, he's kind of a bit more dicey. He didn't have a great game, like up against the Bills with the 32 passes, 18 completions, 188 passing yards, and 1 touchdown. When he's at home, he just plays so much better. So I think Big Ben has a decent shot to be at least a serviceable start this week in week number 2. Next up, we have Baker Mayfield of the Cleveland Browns going up against the Houston Texans. Baker Mayfield and the Browns came out hot up against the Kansas City Chiefs. They looked like they were going to be able to beat the Chiefs in week number 1 to send the Chiefs to a 2-game loss streak. Now, technically, it would only be a 1-game loss streak, but what I'm talking about is the Super Bowl until that game. It looks like, you know what, maybe the Browns are going to win. But the issue is, when you're playing up against the Chiefs, you basically have to score like 42, 48 points just to feel like you're going to win. Just to feel like there is a chance that you are going to win. Because you can get up, if you're watching the game, you might be like, hey, you know what, I need to get a beer out of the fridge, I need to go get a snack, and you go get a snack, you come back, the commercial is over, and Patrick Mahomes has thrown 2 touchdowns in the 4 seconds you were away. Because that's just how fast they can move the ball. And the Browns, they were trying to run the ball. They were scoring a lot of points. It's just that Baker Mayfield wasn't the benefactor of these points because he threw the ball 28 times. He had 21 completions, 321 passing yards, and just 1 INT. He had a very, very good game. The issue was that he didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't throw 2 touchdowns. So if we see him put up a stat line again, like 321 passing yards, typically, you don't finish as quarterback 25. Typically, you're a top 10 quarterback. And here up against the Houston Texans, while they had Trevor Lawrence's lunch money yesterday, they destroyed Trevor Lawrence. Now, Trevor Lawrence, at the end of the day, he had a fine stat line, but he got picked off 3 times. The Texans aren't going to pick off Baker Mayfield 3 times. I'll tell you that much. And I think Baker Mayfield has a much better day, or a similar day, but just with more touchdowns up against the Houston Texans. Before we get on in to the final quarterback that I'm going to want you guys to be picking up off of the waiver wire to start in week number 2, I'd like to let you guys know that football is finally back. And today is the last day that you guys can get started with Awesemo Plus NFL for $1. Our Awesemo Plus NFL Express Weekly Pass is only $1 when you use promo code DAK, like the quarterback. D-A-K, promo code DAK at checkout. Our Express Pass is the best way to introduce yourself to the Awesemo Plus NFL, which is more expansive than ever. Included is our player and ownership rankings, as well as our expert Slack chat and everything we have to offer for Showdown, as well as single game contests. New this year to the package is our season-long fantasy football coverage, as well as the projected ownership and optimal lineup probabilities for tiers contests on DraftKings. That's promo code DAK Dak for access to our highest value NFL Express weekly pass for just $1. This offer is valid through 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Again, promo code Dak, like the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Final quarterback to be streaming this week is Mystic Mac Jones, quarterback of the New England Patriots at the New York Jets. Mac Jones, he debuted on Sunday, and to me, he looked good. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm watching this game. I'm like, damn it, I thought Mac Jones was going to have the rookie jitters, be a little bit nervous, you know, but it looked like the guy's been in the NFL for years. Now, obviously, his stat line isn't something insane. 29 completions on 39 attempts for 281 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown, no interceptions. Pretty solid game. Pretty solid game up against a tough Miami Dolphins defense. So obviously, those are not stats worth salivating over, right? Those are not stats that are going to win you your week. But if you look back to just last week, you can see how the Panthers played up against the Jets. Sam Darnold threw for 279 passing yards and a touchdown on the Jets, as well as tacking on a rushing touchdown. Now, Jones played well last week up against a tough defense, so imagine how well he could play up against a not-so-hot Jets defense. Jets offense also not super hot as well. So I think Mac Jones is going to have a certified field day this week up against the New York Jets. Now, obviously, it's a much deeper play because in a lot of leagues, you can easily pick up Kirk Cousins. You could easily pick up Jameis Winston, but if you're in a super deep league, I think Mac Jones may be the answer and the key to success for your week number 2 fantasy football lineup. So thank you guys all so much for watching. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below, because not only is it free, we put out this content every single day to help you guys win your 2021 Fantasy Football Championship. I personally will be back talking to you guys about the wide receivers on the waiver wire and the tight ends in the morning. So make sure you guys come back in the morning. I love you guys all so much. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Please make sure you guys check out Yahoo again, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY. I love you guys all so much. Have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, goodbye.